This is a nurse from Silent Hill. And this is a nurse from Silent Hill. And this is a nurse from Silent Hill. And this is the moment where you have probably realized that there are a lot of nurses in Silent Hill. But although all of them are nurses, they are not the same. In fact, they can be very different and actually have very little to do with each other. Unlike the enemies in other series like Resident Evil, where every zombie in a 1,000-mile radius was infected by the exact same virus. But what are these differences that make them different? Well, let's find out. The nurses in Silent Hill 1 are actually called Puppet Nurse, or when you want to be a bit more brutal, Monsterized Nurse, which is actually quite fitting. They still look fairly human, apart from the giant freaking parasite on their back, and wear standard hospital clothes from some time ago. They move very slowly and hunch forward when walking, most likely because of the giant parasite. Apart from that, they attack with a scalpel and do a bit of slashy when you get too close to them. The worst thing though is that they can cooperate, just like us real humans. Killing them is just as horrifying as this fact because of the sounds and movements they make, and they seem way too human-like for the average Silent Hill enemy. But hey, Harry doesn't have a problem, so here we go! They were created from Alessa Gillespie's memories, who was tortured and even set on fire to revive God by her own mother and her weird-ass cult, the Order. And even more extra lore that made her do all this shit and why our bro Harry is killing these nurses now. This is also why they are called puppets, because they got controlled and manipulated by the cult to do these things to Alessa. The Silent Hill 2 nurses are pretty different already. They have a lot of sex appeal, mainly because James is too damn horny. They wear short hospital dresses and show a lot more skin. Apart from that, they got big boobies. I don't think I have to explain that, like in all of Silent Hill 2, pretty much all of their design is symbolic. Their covered face and swollen head is symbolic for Mary's sickness and how James, spoiler, killed her. Additionally, they are twitching constantly to show how they are suffocating, just like, spoiler, Mary was. The red square covering their mouth is symbolic for Mary's anger towards James while she was sick, as they symbolize her verbal abuse towards him. And you could probably get even more out of the design, but it should be clear already that they put even more thoughts into the design compared to the first Silent Hill. Obviously they also look a lot less human-like, the parasite is completely gone, and they use a pipe instead of scalpels. There's also a slightly changed version for the other world, which is even more disgusting and has spikes driven through their head. So yeah, like I said, they are basically completely different to the nurses from Silent Hill 1, with a different design and symbolism. Before getting to Silent Hill 3, I just wanted to mention that a lot of you probably haven't subscribed yet, so please consider doing so if you're enjoying this video. And usually I'm trying to do this more creatively, but I'm out of ideas for this one, so we are out of luck. But thank you anyway. With Silent Hill 3 we are back in the weird cult-like aspects of Silent Hill and also back in the Brookhaven Hospital from Silent Hill 2. Fittingly, they seem a bit like a mix of both games' nurses. The James's horny design remains more or less from Silent Hill 2, but they look a lot more human with a very stylish bob cut instead of weird-ass mask and spikes. Apart from that, the parasite is still gone, but the slow walk and posture from the first game returns. Though you should not mess with them this time because some of them carry freaking guns now for whatever reason. So brace yourself for some katana action because you don't want them around for long. The symbolism is similar to the first game, because they're still made of Alessa's memories of a gruesome hospitalization prior to Silent Hill 1. But considering that Heather is more or less Alessa, it's also manifested from her mind, so basically like in Silent Hill 2. Anyway, in my opinion, they are probably the scariest nurses from the games, simply because they look so human, although they probably weren't an opposite to Silent Hill 1. Apart from that, they are also very dangerous, so yeah. Silent Hill Origins takes us out of the Team Silent games and gave us the faceless nurses. And their big feature is that they have no face. Apart from that, the sexiness remains and they look a lot like the nurses from Silent Hill 2, apart from the slightly different face. Or no face. But hey, they added stockings, The scalpel and a bit of slashy with it returns from Silent Hill 1, and additionally they have gotten a syringe. They don't hit as hard and are weaker than in previous installments though and move very slow. There's probably some symbolism behind them just like always, though the story and lore of Origins was so forgettable that I'm not even convinced that they put much thought into it. But they probably represent Travis' sexual desires. Where have I seen that before? But they could also represent his mother or Alessa again, who were both hospitalized. But the nurses here aren't really that interesting and in my opinion they start to feel uninspired in general from this point onwards. But hey, let's go to the next one. Silent Hill Coming Home. Or was it Homecoming? Anyway, the nurses in this game continue with the at this point overly sexual appearance and copy the design from the 2006 movie that already copied and over-sexualized Silent Hill 2 nurses. Just like in the movie, and unlike any previous Silent Hill game, they are attracted to sound and light and don't move otherwise. Which is, to be fair, a pretty cool concept. You can also see a fetus inside them when they are eliminated, which is a cool detail as well. Less cool are the lore reasons, which are the same again. The main character Alex got hospitalized and is too horny. Again. Although they put a small extra detail in the game stating that they probably looked like this because the nurses in the military were overly sexualized as well. And if we ignore the lore reasons, we can probably agree that they just did this for some extra money from horny fans. Anyway, that were pretty much all the nurses from the games. The nurses in the movies are basically the same as in Homecoming and vice versa. The nurses in Silent Hill the Arcade aren't really interesting or special, and the rest of the game featured them either as a joke or reference, if at all. So yeah, although all of these are nurses, they can be vastly different in their appearance, symbolic meaning, and attack pattern. Apart from that, pretty much all of them have their own name too, and are pretty different from each other if you ignore that they are nurses. I also think it's pretty sad how it's very obvious that they were getting less and less creative with both the nurses' meaning and design, considering that every Silent Hill media from Origin onwards did pretty much the exact same over-sexualized thing. But Pyramid Head suffered the same fate, so at least they weren't alone. I hope the future Silent Hill releases in the form of Silent Hill F and Townfall will avoid this issue, but we will see. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching. Please tell me in the comments which kind of nurses are your favorite. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and see you next time.